What's up? I'm the Empathetic Chicken, and I just figured I would film a little bit of my little drawing process, since I've never really done a video like this before, and since I'm working on a tarot project. This is for a deck. I don't really know when it's coming out, honestly, but a while back, I got hit up to do this by a couple people on Instagram, and their names, that would be nice. Little Sparrow Magic and Divination Dude. They asked, or they told me about like a project they were doing that was basically like a collective tarot project, and it was based on the Thoth deck by Aleister Crowley. And I ain't gonna lie, I didn't even have that deck before they asked me to do it, and I told them that. I was like, I don't know, I'm not really familiar with this. But I mean, I was interested in the project because it sounded really cool, like other artists, like they wanted to do like a different artist for each card in the deck. And so I was like, it sounds cool, but I'm not familiar with the deck, so just letting you know that. And anyway, they said it wasn't a problem, so I just joined the look at this chicken. What are you doing, son? Anyway, they said it wasn't a problem, so I joined. But I started doing like some research, got me a few books, got the Book of Thoth. Still haven't read it yet. I need to. I read a little passage about my card, which is the Princess. Let me take it out of this thing so you can see it. The Princess of Discs. If it will focus. There we go. Princess of Discs. So anyway. So we had pretty much like freedom to do whatever we wanted creatively. I mean, as long as we stuck to like certain symbols. Like for mine, I have to include like the shield and the staff and like the horned head piece thingy and the sheepskin. Like they gave us a list of stuff to include. That way we cover the bases and everything, and it's like recognizable, you know. But I've been working on this for so long. And this is not like the first rendition of it either. Like I already finished one of them, but I haven't been consistently working on it. Like I did one, and then I did like a few color versions, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm satisfied here, because I just feel like I could do better. And then I also, like, with the paper that I was working on, it wasn't the best, so I was like, maybe I should do a different one. And now, like, it's been so long that I'm, like, revisiting it again. Like, this isn't the first inking, or, like, sketch. This is just, like, well, this is actually the original pencils that I had. And then I ended up scanning it in, I think, yeah, and then like inking it that way. I don't know, I'm like paranoid when I work because I don't want to mess something up, which is probably why I can never finish anything. So this is like the original one, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna just go ahead and ink, because this is bigger. Like the one that I printed out and inked the first time was like 8.5 by 11, and so I felt like that really limited my like line quality or whatever. But this feels better. And like, plus I'm not using it right now, but I have a dip pen that I was learning to use. And that's what I use for like most of this other stuff. But I was just like, I'm ready to practice, and this gives me an excuse to practice with that pen and see how good I can get, because I'm not the best at it. Kind of haven't figured it out yet, but I'm working on it. But yeah, I feel like I like this one so far better because I can get more variance with it being larger. Like, I'll show you my other one. Other ones. Because I have, like, so many versions of the same thing. Hold up. Alright. So that's not the original. So I had like so many dang photocopies because I was going to do different color variants and then like pick which one I liked and then do the original, and then time passed and I kind of didn't. And it's just been a slow process, but yeah, so this is like the original pencils for this, like scanned in, and that's what I ended up inking. These chickens, I can't take them. Like, they're peeking at me. Can't see her now, but anyways. That's like the original pencils of what I'm inking now. And then I had, where is the actual one where I inked it? Okay, here's the original inked one that I did. The first one, which is okay. I mean, at the time it was good enough, but now that I'm doing this one, I'm like, I'm improving. Like, I'm really doing better. So, honestly, I didn't know how long I was going to be working on this, and I was scared like they were going to be ready for the card to be submitted, and I wasn't going to have it done. So I was willing to go with this. Like, it was decent enough. But, I mean, I am glad that I'm doing another one in case it turns out better, which I feel like it already is. But yeah, then I did a few, like, color tests, just to kind of get a feel for what color palette. Oh yeah, there's another little sketch that I did. I feel like I had this one, and then I, like, blew it up and put it on this, made it bigger, and kind of, like, tweaked some stuff, made her, like, a lot taller. Like, this one was kind of, like, too scrunched in the composition. But anyway, then I think this was the first color version that I did, and I just felt like it was really sloppy. It was on like cheap printer paper, and I was using my Copic markers, and they don't really work that well on, like, blending wise, they don't really work as good as they could on this cheap paper. So I was like trying to print out my thing onto some Bristol board or something, but I just couldn't get my printer to work. So I just kept doing these little different studies on the regular copy paper. And this is using like those Pentar paint pens and then like the Copic markers, kind of a combination, because I was just desperate, like trying all things to figure out what was going to work best without having better paper. And if I wasn't like so freaked out, I could have just like did it on the original one, but I'm just weird and don't want to like mess up my original stuff, even though the point is to like make stuff, and who cares if you make a mistake, like you fix it, but you know, anxiety. So let's see, those were the only two that were like, I started on that one too, I didn't really finish it, but you know, there's time. But this was the one that I was gonna actually go with, like if like push came to shove, and I was ready for like the card and I didn't have nothing, like this was gonna be it. And I'm still pretty happy with this. Like, this is the Copic markers and the Pentar paint pens too. But I kind of like the glow effect that I achieved and like the background colors. I think it turned out nice. But I think this could turn out even better. So I'm gonna just see where this goes. Cause I mean, so far they've been really lenient on like the time frame of stuff. So if I can like do better, I'm gonna do better. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do backgrounds, because like backgrounds are so difficult to me. Like, I remember when I was in art school, like they kept saying like stuff in the foreground is like more detailed, obviously, because it's up close or whatever. And then like thinking about how like when we look at stuff, like we don't focus, like we can't see everything in clear detail, because like, I mean, limits of our eyes, you know. So like you wouldn't want to have like everything super detailed in your drawing, because then like your eye wouldn't know where to go. So I'm still kind of learning the balance of that. Like, I feel like in my other drawing, everything is kind of just like bleh. like too busy, I guess you would say. And so on this one, I'm trying to figure out like a better balance in like having that sharpness. Like I like having stuff bold, but I also understand that like certain things need to stand out while other things don't need to be so. Like I kind of want to achieve like that aerial perspective background, like the haze, whereas in the other one I had like the dark trees. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out like the light scheme too. Like I'm just not that good at lighting. Like out of my head, I kind of need references. But I know I want like the light to be coming from like behind her, but also like from her little staff thing. So I haven't figured that out yet. And like this actually looked a lot worse back before. Like I had to put white all over like this part, like white ink, because I just like shadowed it really badly. But I fixed it. I mean, there's always a fix. Because it was pretty rough. I was ready to give up at that point on this thing. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. I kind of want to go for like this like youthful, like old. It's kind of weird. I mean, I got the yin yang in there, so like the little compliments. But I feel like this person should be like. I mean, I know in the card thing it talks about like she's like the ultimate portrayal of a woman or some crap. Sorry, I'm not being insulting by saying crap, but like I don't know. It was talking about like pregnancy and like all that, and I don't really relate to that whole thing. So I interpret it more of like creative ideas, like birthing, that kind of stuff, instead of like a physical human. But I feel like this lady should be like both like a youthful, wise woman. I don't understand how that works, but it's like she's wise, but also like open to like new ideas. I don't know, like what am I even saying? Because I feel like, what is that thing people say, like the beginner's mind or whatever? Like you don't really know, like you can never know everything. But I mean, you can know a lot, but there's always more to learn. I'm just trying to like capture some of the crap that I was thinking when I interpreted the card and everything. And I originally wanted to have like the reason I did like the black trees in the background in the other one is because like I wanted it to be like this like burnt forest type thing, like you know how you kind of like burn the forest to, or not, like what am I saying? Like people burn land and stuff to like regenerate regrowth and stuff. So I feel like she was bringing the growth back to the forest. But I haven't figured out a way to like translate that into the color scheme yet. Like I want to have more emphasis on like this tree right here in the front. That chicken was just up there too fast. But yeah, I want to do like maybe some leaves or something, like she's bringing in like the growth. I don't really feel that like good right now. I feel like really rusty. But I'm gonna keep going and see what happens. I'm not really used to like brushes or brush pens either. Like usually I use like those little felt tip marker things because I have more control. Yes. Yes. I don't know, like I have the Thoth deck, but I still haven't used it because I'm kind of intimidated by it, I won't lie. I mean, I started reading, like, I won't lie, when I first, like, heard about Aleister Crowley, I was kind of, like, scared of him. Because you hear all, like, the ugly stuff, like, about how horrible he was, and I don't know, like, one of my first little introductions to him was in that documentary, like, the Satanic Panic, like, back in that day, that, what was it called? Paradise Lost, where, like, they say that them kids killed the little boys. And, like, I made the mistake of watching that documentary, and then they showed, like, the little kid bodies, and I ain't good with stuff like that. Like, I don't even like watching Forensic Files or none of that, because, like, I don't like seeing dead bodies. It freaks me out. Like, I mean, I guess, yeah, it just freaks me out. I don't know, there's no excuse. It just does. And so, like, in that documentary, it was very much like, or at least one, I know there's, like, 3 parts, or however many. Like, in a couple of those, they, like, frame it to where, like, that one guy, the Damien Eccles, was, like, practicing magic and stuff and reading Aleister Crowley, and, you know, they going at it from the lens of, like, sacrificing children and devil worship and all that. So, like, at the time, I was kind of freaked out, and, like, when I first got into, like, magic and stuff, it took me a lot of time. Like, when I was using tarot, like, it took me a lot of time to kind of, like, warm up to the idea that I wasn't doing anything wrong. Because I come from, like, religious upbringing or whatever. Like, my mom's really heavy into Jesus stuff. I don't even know. She's went through different denominations or whatever, but she's always believed in God and kind of, like, warned me. Like, she'll be sending me them things where, like, the people get, the spirits bothering them and all that. So, like, at first, the fear-mongering was working. And I was kind of, like, feeling guilty. Like, am I doing something bad? Like, I don't feel like it is, but maybe it is. And so, it took me a while to kind of be okay with what I was doing. I guess it was just, like, internalized, like, guilt and fear of, like, something happening. But I honestly feel like if you ain't, like, inviting that stuff in, it ain't gonna come anyways. Like, it's all about, like, your intentions. I mean, I can't say, like, I don't know. I haven't had anything bother me yet. I mean, I ain't wanting to. Nothing to, but I'm just saying. I feel like a lot of it has to do with, like, what you project onto it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But, so, anywho, I was kind of cautious, but I kind of thought, like, well, maybe this is just because this is a certain lens that they're looking at it through. Like, they didn't understand. Like, people don't understand, like, things that aren't, like, the norm or whatever. So maybe he was just misunderstood. And I ain't denying, like, maybe he did some horrible things. Like, I ain't defending the man because I don't know him. But, like, I don't know. I don't really want no part of, like, anything horrible like that anyway. So I know where I stand with stuff like that. So I kind of learned to not worry about it. And then I also had, what was that other book? This book I was reading. And I really appreciated it too, because, like, the guy that wrote this was also talking about how he had, like, the fear of Crowley and stuff. But then he did research and figured out he wasn't, like, what everybody said. So that also made me feel a little better. But, like, now I don't even struggle with that anymore. I think, like, in the beginning I just had to, like, not detox, but, like, you know, get rid of that fear that was freaking me out. Like, I think it all boils down to, like, trusting yourself and knowing, like, what you will allow in. I hope I'm not messing this up. Like, I just don't feel with it today. Excuse me. Anyway, I don't know when this is gonna like be out, but I'm really excited to see like other artists and what they came up with. I think as of now there were like 25 cards done of the 78, so probably won't be too much longer. Yeah, I'm one of the the ones holding things up over here. But I mean, I just want to make sure that I'm doing my best here. Like, I kind of had the project sprung on me like at a time where I didn't really have time to focus on it much. So now I'm at a point where I can. So I want to see what I can do when I'm not stressed out. Oh yeah, and if anybody wants to like look into this, I believe the website, they have a website. I don't remember where's my phone. I know like the project is supposed to be called Thoth Collective Tarot, as far as I know. That's what they said to share it as, so. And then, actually I don't think the website's up yet. I think they're working on it, so I can't really say where to go, but I'm sure like there'll be more about it once it kind of starts to come together.